Hello and welcome back, friends, to another episode of Lynch Paints. In this lore video today, I'm going to be delving into the Legion of the Damned. So I'll be covering a little bit about who they are for anyone that isn't aware of them, where they were last seen, and what they could be up to now. Also, because they're just so freaking awesome and I don't see enough of them. However, before we dive into it, I'd just like to mention that if you find value in this video, or just like the Legion of the Damned, then show your support with a like and a subscribe, as it really does help grow this little channel of mine. Also pop a comment down below and with your own thoughts and theories and ideas about what the Legion of the Damned are up to, and tell me, do you have an army of them? Because I'd love to see that. So, with all that being said, let's get started. So, who are the Legion of the Damned? For those of you that don't know, the Legion of the Damned are spectral undead warriors that are clad in the darkest of armour that seems to absorb light, and decorated in bones and skulls. Now, if that's not metal enough for you, they're also covered head to toe in fire. Not just normal fire, magical fire. And it just makes them look so freaking awesome. Wreathed in flame, they will appear when the Imperium is in its dire situations. Arriving silently, they obliterate the foe with flaming bolt rounds and tanking shots that would normally destroy tanks, let alone normal space marines. Then once the battle is won, they just silently vanish as mysteriously as they arrived, without uttering a single word, which just adds to their spooky characteristics. They have been able to turn the tide of many huge battles when the Imperium would have taken a massive L, and they have saved countless lives and worlds whenever they have appeared. Now, to try and understand who the Legion of the Damned are is a bit of a tricky one and is hotly debated ever since their first appearance back in 3rd edition. That's over 20 years ago. Most believe that they are the ghosts of fallen Astartes, most of which were from during the Horus Heresy, mainly the Istvan drop site massacre, returning to the Emperor's side to wreak vengeance against Chaos. This theory is backed up by the sighting of a huge, superior space marine with a missing head, most likely being the headless Ferrus Manus Primarch of the Iron Hands. As a side note, it is a shame that he did fall so soon during the Horus Heresy, as I'd love to have just seen more lore and books on him, but it is what it is. Now, another popular theory is that the Legion of the Damned are the survivors of the Firehawks chapter. The ship went into the warp, and as the warp is a highly unstable realm, they just never came out of it, and they were never seen again. The entire chapter just vanished. Sometime later, the Imperium found caskets belonging to the Firehawks chapter floating in deep space. Upon opening them, they found dead Marines inside, but their armour was black as the void, unadorned and just covered with bones and skulls. Once reports came in of the Legion of the Damned appearing across the galaxy, some believe that they were the remnants of the Lost Firehawks chapter, who have somehow been corrupted and transformed within the warp into vengeful, flame-covered silent champions of the Emperor. Their appearance matches what they had found inside the Firehawks' coffins, which raised small questions. Were they once the Firehawks, or were they something else placed into the coffins by the Firehawks? No one really knows. Another theory is that the Legion of the Damned are psychic manifestations created by the Emperor's own psychic might, also referred to within the community as the Emperor's demons, which makes them warp-based entities, which is quite fascinating. This holds some truth, as the Emperor has the ability to create living saints, such as Saint Celestine, and has channeled some of his powers into beings to help sway the tides of a crucial battle. This is backed up more in recent lore, as the Emperor is becoming more active within the galaxy. Not active as in finally be able to scratch that itch that he has had for 10,000 years, or ask for a drink, but actively with his immense psychic powers. Notably, when he was able to revive Gilliman, flipped off Nurgle and burnt his garden, and told Mortarion that he's not mad, but just disappointed, and could come back to his side once he's had a shower and apologised. There is some other theories, but these are the most common ones that you will come across. And personally, I think that there's a little water held in all of them. The Firehawks being lost and dying in the warp, only to then be resurrected as ghost marines to join alongside the other ghosts of the heresy, and are directed and popped out into the material realm by the Emperor using his crazy psychic powers. So that's just the main theories there covered, and I'd really love to know what your theories are, which of those three that you sort of sway more towards. But personally, I do think that all three of them just have a little something about them that overall just makes sense. So the last known sightings of the Legion of the Damned was during the 13th Black Crusade, during the fall of Cadia in early M42. They were at the Battle of Cadia, aiding the Space Wolves in sabotaging Abaddon's Blackstone Fortress within the fortress itself, the Will of Eternity. Then, sadly, towards the end of the battle, Abaddon got very, very salty, so decided to throw all his toys and the fortress itself out of the pram and directly into Cadia, destroying it entirely. However, not truly entirely, because as we all know, Cadia still stands. Just after this, the light of the Astronomicon went out, and the galaxy was split in half, known as the Great Rift, which is currently where we're at within the tabletop and the lore with 10th edition. They were also seen on Baal, during the devastation of Baal, where the Blood Angels fought against a massive Tyranid invasion that almost took the planet. They were also spotted on Armageddon and a couple of hundreds other worlds that have been half mentioned, but we don't really know the names of the other planets or sort of really what was going on them. Arriving just suddenly out of nowhere, with only the sound from them being their warpish, flaming bolters, and then vanishing without a trace. So, now you know a little bit about them, a little bit about what they've been up to currently, but the main question I want to ask is, where are they now? So, being that the Imperium is torn in half by the Great Rift, chaos is literally everywhere, and almost having just as much fun as the Orcs in this carnage. But of course, no one is ever really having more fun than the Orcs right now. And you might think that there would be more sightings of the Legion of the Damned. I mean, it's been a long time since we heard anything about them from Games Workshop, and from what we know about the Legion of the Damned, there should be more of a focus on them right now. Now, I'm not looking for Games Workshop to do a deep explanation into them, but just give us something more, because they're a really fantastic and awesome faction. Something like a short novel where they get a little bit more of the spotlight on them. Just something, you know? There's been hardly anything. They are a very unique group within the Space Marines, and their aesthetic is just so freaking cool. So hopefully we'll get a campaign book with the Legion of the Damned making a fairly big appearance. I mean, I could see them getting involved within the Natman Pass, as it seems like Chaos is going to be winning that conflict from what we've heard recently with some of the lore leaks. They could appear perhaps at the last moments like they normally do, but rather than turn back the tides of the war into the Imperium victory, they could be there just holding the line while the Imperium focuses on evacuating their last members out of there before chaos completely overwhelms them. They are a extremely well-loved and unique and popular, almost like minor faction within the Imperium and the Space Marines, and it just seems a shame that it feels like they've been sidelined for other conflicts and other things going on in the galaxy. Now, I do love the fact that they are progressing the story forward, but it seems like there's a few things that have been left to one side that would really benefit with just being not necessarily fleshed out, but just included in a few novels just here and there. And the Legion of the Damned are one of the prime examples of a faction that's just been left out in the rain. We need just a little bit more to them. And again, don't want any sort of spoilers being mentioned about them in terms of what chapter they actually came from, who their, any names, anything like that. We just want more of them, just more mentions of them. Maybe not just a couple of words or a sentence or two here and there, but a good dedicated amount of writing for them. Just about a battle that they've been in. Hopefully maybe with obviously Angron now running around causing so much carnage, and the theory that 11th edition is going to focus more on the Orcs. And Orcs, Angron, rumours about the Grey Knights being updated. You've got Armageddon. The Legion of the Damned have been seen on Armageddon. So I'm hoping that maybe, possibly, there might be a campaign book based on Armageddon, whereby we get a good chunk of juicy lore and information for us to really sink our teeth into, about the Legion of the Damned. So, I mean, I'm probably just theorising and just speculating here, but we just need something. So let me know down in the comments if you agree with my theory. If you enjoy this video, then do let me know if you want to see more like this by gently hugging the like button. And if you want to support what I do here, then the best way to do so is to subscribe and share with your friends. And as always, stay safe, stay beautiful, and we'll see you all next time.